Welcome to Journey Through the Gate, the Paranormal Portal podcast, as we delve into the many questions and wonders brought on by this supernatural experience. What's on the other side of the gate? Let's find out together. Hello, you beautiful people out there. I was rocking to the music. You know what? Mercury's in retrograde, and I have spent all day with customer support, virtual chat peoples. I had somebody in my computer moving my arrow around. Freakiest thing I ever saw. Absolutely freaky. Thank you, Beacon. I loved it too. It was a little short because I had to do a couple sound checks, and I was trying to get some last minute stuff in here to make sure I got all these beautiful gentlemen that I have on tonight. I am one of the luckiest redheads in New Jersey tonight because I'm telling you, I'm going to be surrounded by some of the most wonderful men and the most wonderful chat with good music, good ghost stories, a fantastic subject. And guess what? It's boo season. I don't care what anybody tells you. Cracker Barrel said it was boo season back in the end of June. I held out. I only started a week ago, but boy, we're going to kick it off tonight. I have some wonderful people for you tonight. So let me bring in a familiar face before I start saying hi to all you lovely, lovely people. Throw the bacon out there and all the love. Put up, if you need a little extra healing tonight, we're sending it your way. If you need a hug, consider yourself hugged. And if you want a good next couple of hours, I'm telling you right now, you found the spot. This is it right here. So, 55. Thank you, Uncommon Belief. Yeah, I've got 2 USB ports that aren't working. I don't want to talk about it because we found a way to make it work, and here we are. So let me bring in my lovely co-host. You know him well. Here he is. Hello, Donnie. Lovely to see you. Can you hear me okay? I'm on a cheap little microphone. I got a brand new lovely microphone. Thank you. Today, but I've got nowhere to plug it in. So
do you hear me?
There you go. I hear you fine, darling. Okay. I feel you fine. What is your mic, by the way? What do you got there? I wanted to ask you this afternoon. Sorry, chat. Just a sec.
I bought this at Best Buy very last minute. It was like a 2-for-1 like live cam and mic setup, and the whole thing was like $170.
Right.
It wasn't even $200,
but it sounds great.
So
I got a new one today. Yeah. It's a Blue Yeti Blackout from Mario. And lovely, but we thought it was the microphone. It wasn't the microphone. Took my whole system apart. It's the USB port. So apparently the laptop's got to go to the doctor. So either way, we'll have a show. I've got another one. I'll work through it. If we're here tonight, I don't think anything can stop us. I don't want to, challenge the universe or nothing, but put out prayers for the laptop. Just, I mean, I don't want to hear anything about drivers or updates. We've been through it all. It's been crazy. So here we go. Let's bring in our lovely guest. I have a returning guest here if I can find him. I think I heard him pop in. Oh, he's not here yet. So I'll tell you what. I have 2 lovely men waiting backstage here. Oh, there he is. Let's bring in my wonderful Michael Acciana. Here we go. Welcome in. Hey, honey.
Hello.
Hello. I got a little echo. Are you hearing echo?
I just turned my Facebook off.
Okay, perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Hey, Donnie, how you doing?
Wanted to
good. How are you? It's been a few weeks, hasn't it?
Hello, my lovely Cisco.
Hello, darling. Hello. Welcome. I'm so excited to see you all.
I had the same problems today. I was editing that thing for you, and I could not add any music. My editing program crapped out on me. I was like, what the hell?
Mercury's in retrograde. Expect tempers to be up, bullshit to be flowing, and all your electronics are going to go absolutely nuts, chat. Yeah. So, all you got to do is you just got to just stay the course. And just
I got into like my first ever car accident just the other day.
Oh, Donnie, no.
Yeah. It was very minor. It was like at 2 miles an hour, like a parking lot, little fender bender. But I was like, that's never happened to me before.
But they can be a pain in the neck, and they can cause a lot of damage nowadays. With bumpers
the problem was, even though it was only like 2 miles an hour, the way it hit the lady's car, like all the transmission fluid was leaking out. And I was
jeez.
It just hit it in like the wrong spot.
Oh, jeez. So, well, nobody was hurt.
No one was hurt.
It's just some metal and some styrofoam. It's not. They don't build cars like they used to.
By the way, there was just one scratch on my car.
Wow.
So
you better.
Wow. So yeah, you got lucky.
It was bad luck, but not terrible luck.
You got extremely lucky. Well, I'm glad you're okay. So Michael Acciana is a returning guest of ours. He's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful lover of history, a fantastic paranormal investigator. So much information, and we're going to show you some stuff tonight. We have some great clips from a show that he did. I'm going to let him tell you about it. He is with Journey Through the Past and Heritage Hunter Society. So welcome in, my love.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Would you like? Oh gosh, it's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. We're going to have a ball. Would you like to introduce the 2 gentlemen back here? They're already backstage waiting to come on. And
they've been back there for about an hour.
I know. God bless them.
Anxious.
Sit here watching me put my stuff together with Band-Aids and stuff, trying to make this work.
I want to introduce my good friends, Billy and James of Southern Paranormal Society in Carolina. We've been investigating together since about 2017, and we've just had great times. These guys are really great core investigators.
Yeah.
There's no bullshit with these guys.
There it is. There it is.
They don't play
Come
with
on
little
in.
gadgets and all. So
hello, guys.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome in,
Thanks
and it
for
was an
having us.
absolute pleasure meeting you guys at the
You're
Hoover
sitting
House
in the dark.
and at
You
the
should,
Bash.
you have a light that you could turn on a little bit?
Light a candle.
You have any lights that you could turn on? Because you're a little dark.
Yeah, I can fix that.
Maybe. There you go. Take your time. Take your time. Thank you for coming in. It's an absolute pleasure. It was a pleasure meeting you. We had some wonderful experiences together. And I'll tell you what, James we were standing outside all smoking a cigarette, and he says, you've got all the something's coming up around you, because I definitely felt something. And the whole thing is, for a minute he was getting some great EVPs off my butt. Now I know I've got, what my brother tells me is that girl right there is 95% Cherokee and Lenape, but that butt's all Scottish. So if it was haunted, I wouldn't doubt it, but my cell phone was on, and he didn't even make fun of me for it. But he was getting good readings, weren't you, honey?
He was just looking at your butt.
Oh, yeah. He was firing up the EMF.
It was going crazy.
A redheaded do it every time.
He said, do you have your cell phone on your pocket? I said, you know what, I do, and I didn't even think about it. So think about that, folks. That's a good lesson. If you're paranoid, if you're investigating, keep your cell phones in the car or turn them off or whatever, because they definitely will affect some equipment. But I wasn't even thinking about that night. There was so much going on. So welcome in. Now you guys are with the tell us again, it's the Paranormal. What's the name of your group again? I don't want to get it wrong. Southern
is a Southern Paranormal Society, NC.
There you go. In North Carolina. That's wonderful.
Carolina.
You guys have been, and you got North Carolina, and I'm going to be talking Southern before I get out of here tonight. I tell you what, because I spent like 25 years out of the Army. Hey, Navy, how you doing, baby? And when I got out, I was in Alabama for like 25 years, half in New Jersey, half. So I'm like the epitome. I'm half and half. And when I get with people that have that lovely, lovely sound to their voice, believe me, I just fall right in it again. So forgive me for that. But it's wonderful to have you guys here. Now, let me ask you this. I've asked Mike this, and I'll come around and ask him again. But I want to ask you guys, James, if you'd like to go first, what got you interested in the paranormal? Was it, just intrigue? Did you have an experience? What was it? Was it the tech? Because I know you're very involved in tech and things like that. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I was kind of grabbed into it right from my birth. I was raised on a 200-year-old farmhouse, and it was haunted. Every night we had a spirit that would make its rounds. He would start in the front of the house and walk all the way through the house back to the kitchen, and then after a while he'd return, make the same trip going back. And this is, like I said, it was this house was originally a stagecoach depot back in colonial days. And so it's got the old 15-foot and almost the floor to ceiling windows. So when the moon was shining, you could see everything inside. Well, you could hear the footsteps because we had those old linoleum rugs on wood floors, and you could hear the gristle underneath when it was walking through the house, and you could follow the sound with your ears, but there was nothing there. So this went on all my life that I was living there. So I automatically became interested from paranormal right from the get-go. So
that's awesome.
It just
awesome.
Continued on, and
yep. So and you've been looking ever since. I got
started, and so I've been reading and investigating and just reading up on everything I can to try and figure out what was going on. And it took me about 50 years, but when I got up with Billy and joined his team, we investigated the house, and that's when I found out that the spirit that was walking through the house every night was my grandfather, who had died before I was born.
Mm.
He had died in the fields back behind this old farmhouse when the tractor flipped over and pinned him underneath.
Oh,
and once we were going through the evidence, and I asked, "Who are you?" He says, "I'm your grandpa, James. I love you."
Oh, wow.
Oh,
So
wow.
took me
That's
50
great.
some
Wow.
years, but
Yeah.
it was
Wow.
very moving.
Profound. When you get something like that, no matter how long, it takes you right back, 50 years, 10 years, 100 years, it just takes you right back to that moment and that love and that connection because like we always say here, one of my number one messages, my first one is enjoy the journey, because that's what we're here to do. It's hard sometimes,
Amen.
but boy, if it wasn't hard, you wouldn't enjoy the light. You wouldn't enjoy the good times. You take them for granted. So we got to have a little of both. And it's how you walk that journey and what you do with your information and and as your consciousness, evolves and you understand things a little bit more. And, it's just an amazing thing. And the second one is love is eternal. Love is eternal. And I do truly believe that when we
Amen.
speak of them, they hear us. I believe that we connect into that love. We're never really separated from that love. And that's just another, thing to throw in the paranormal kit bag that, it's happening to everybody. And like I always say, well, not everybody, I think it happens to a lot of people that don't acknowledge it and just push it away. I think it would happen a lot more if that stopped. People just accepted things as they came, and the messages and the little things along the way, the music that comes on the radio when you're thinking about somebody, it happened to be their song. And people, oh, that's crazy, it's just a coincidence. I don't believe in the coincidence thing. I believe that they're trying to find ways that they can find to reach out to us, and it's our job to reach back. And sometimes we have to reach out a while before they're able to reach back. And I love that story. I'm glad you hung in there and you got it. I know you got one when you were with me too. And it was lovely to be a part of it, to be in that Hoover house. Now, Billy, same question to you, if you don't mind. What started your interest?
Well, when I was probably about 8 years old, I witnessed my first shadow person. It was probably an unfriendly experience. It scared me for a number of years, but as I got older as a teenager, we would go to different haunted locations, supposedly haunted locations. And I guess my fear grew into an interest and then a passion later on. But I had a number of experiences growing up.
And it was that first experience that got you trying to figure out what's going on and what's behind all this, and trying to unravel this crazy basket of different kinds of yarn all mixed together and tangled.
Yep. I think whenever you experience something paranormal, it changes something inside of you that nothing else really can do is quickly. And I think it just grew into a curiosity to begin with, and then, like I said, a passion. And that's when I founded the Southern Paranormal Society of North Carolina.
Love it.
But I did see my first full body apparition when I was about 17 in the graveyard.
Wow.
That really piqued my interest.
I bet. I bet it piqued more than your interest.
Can you tell us what it looked like?
Yeah, tell us a little bit.
What did you see?
Tell us about it.
I saw, I can still remember it just as like it happened yesterday. It was a beautiful woman who stepped out behind an oak tree and peeked at me and then stepped back. And then when she stepped out a second time, she took about 3 or 4 steps and kind of crossed her arms like this and squatted down right behind the tombstone.
Oh man.
Wow.
But the one thing I noticed about her is she was very visible, except she didn't have any feet. Her dress would move as if she was walking, but there was no feet.
Wow.
You know, that seems to be
That what I
a lot more common than people think, because I almost think it's almost like part of them is still in another realm, like half here, half there, or it could be that they just haven't materialized all the way or had the energy to do so. We can talk about that later and what y'all think about that. Thank you guys so much. Those are great stories. Michael, for you, I know you have this root in love for history and a total respect for it. And Mike's a lot like Steve as far as trying to go back and tell the stories of the folks that lived it before their past, and to try to keep their stories alive and everything. And he's got a wonderful outlook on history and old towns and how they got there and the people that are involved. But on the paranormal, I know that's kind of part of it. It's almost like studying the paranormal is almost studying living history through the dead, kind of.
Exactly.
Tell us about what got you started.
Well, me personally, I actually think of it as a time travel.
Cool.
And I'm not, me, I'm not into sci-fi and futuristic things. I'm more of a historian, and I love the past, especially the way the world is going right now. I really would love to be in the past. But I have always felt that way since I started connecting with the paranormal and history, that it's a way to really, truly step back in time into these other realms.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we would love to be able to physically step back. It's very almost impossible, but through our equipment and our recordings, we are making that connection between different worlds, different realms, and communicating with these spirits. And it's fascinating to me, and that's kind of how I got started in the audio end back in 1978 with my first experience. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the technology of the equipment has made things so much more interesting too, because digital technology has helped a lot. But like Billy and James, I'm sure, and then me, we were catching stuff on audio tape, cassette tapes, and I started with reel-to-reel tape, 1978, using a very high-end reel-to-reel. And so, yeah, it definitely, to me, spirits go onto these devices differently versus, audio tape versus digital. So
right.
Two different worlds, but you can still catch things either way. So very interesting.
It is interesting. I remember when Mark Nesbitt told me he got his first really good EVP on a Mickey Mouse cassette player. So, I mean, it just depends. The equipment really intrigues me, but I don't quite understand how all of it works. Me, I'm just old school. I'm dowsing rods and intuition and sensitivities and what I'm getting from them and things like that. But, the equipment, like you said, has really opened up a lot of doors, and it gave us another way to look at things, as well as, especially if you have several in the room and if they all back each other up, or you have two or three that are picking up the same thing, that's got to be huge and a real exclamation point.
When we go to we use multiple recorders, we don't just put out one recorder. Me personally, I'll put out 3 or 4 throughout the house, because I know I'm going to capture things, and I want to capture almost the same EVPs at different locations to see kind of where it is and what it sounds like versus, another room or downstairs or upstairs. So it's not about just getting an EVP. It's about, catching it with 3 or 4 recorders. That's what I like to do.
Absolutely.
Really, so,
Everybody, I love everybody's techniques, and I got to be around these gentlemen for a couple of days on and off, and I was watching what they were doing. Absolutely professional. They know what they're doing, and if you're in North Carolina or close by, and you need an investigation, or somebody needs some help. Somebody got a kitty. Hello, baby. Hello, baby. And Hello. Adorable. So what we're going to do is tonight, we've heard a little bit about it. Just give them a hug for me. We love animals here. This is an absolutely wonderful chat, and they're already starting to ask questions and everything else. So let me help you guys out. So we're going to have some Q&A at the end. And you can, mods, if you tell people to put it in, you don't have to put it in all caps, but a Q in front of it or something like that, that's great. And we'll get to that. We've got a couple things that we want to share with you, and I want to say hi to everybody in here. I know missed everybody. Kevin, welcome in. Lindsay, my lovely Lindsay, how you doing, darling? AJK, Fox, welcome. Salvador, how you doing, darling? Aunt Edna, how you doing, baby? I love you. I hope you're feeling good. Anybody that I missed, you guys are welcome here. If you're getting bacon and you're new here, bacon is love at Journey Through the Gate. So you're going to get bacon and hearts and popcorn. They always bring enough to share with the whole class. You're welcome to join us in snacks. I've got some nice rose mint tea and I think Sprite on the rocks, something like that. There's no alcohol in it, I promise you, even though I deserve it today, but I'm not drinking. Nicole, welcome in. Holly and Jose, hi, darling. How you doing? So what I want to do, I'm getting from the chat that they can't see Billy and James. It's like solid shadow figures. So if you want, if you can, light on our face. Just if you do it in front of you and turn the light off behind you, that should do it. Even if you light a couple candles in front of you and just turn the light off behind you, that should help. And I'm going to give you a little time to do so, because what's happened here is Billy and James and Michael and Donnie, who I promised I will give a chance to talk to. He wanted to be here because he wants to help go over the EVPs. He was there that night. And we absolutely, everybody's more than welcome. So what we're going to do tonight, because today is a day of remembrance, Mike worked really hard with the Berries, Pamela and Steve Berry, who own part of Hoover House. And they have a wonderful way of sending a tribute out to a wonderful tribute out to everybody for 9/11, everybody that was involved or affected by 9/11. And I think that if you were anywhere near it, if you're a human being and you were, there, you heard about it, you saw it on TV, it is going to affect you. It's a very nice tribute. It's not going to be like the things you see on the TV, so we're not going to depress you. But what we're doing is a lovely way of remembrance and a continuation of that. And having something like this, I believe, sparks conversation. I think it's wonderful what Steve and the artists and everybody that was involved in this did to bring this to us. And Mike, do you want to give it any kind of an intro before we play it? We have a little video for you guys.
Yes. I was out at the Hoover House last October, and Steve was showing me the car. So I decided I wanted to interview him, and he explained everything to me about the car and everything that's on it. So I finally had some time and was able to get the videos together this afternoon to promote it for tonight. So yeah, I want to share this with everybody. Steve Barry's Labor of Love to tribute 9/11.
Right. It's absolutely wonderful. You guys look beautiful. There you are. We can see you now. Thank you so much for going through all that trouble. Thank you so much. So it's just a few minutes long, but we wanted to do this for you guys and bring this to y'all tonight. And I think it's right that we go ahead and do it first. And, while you're watching it and listening to everything, try to put out your good energy and your prayers and your thoughts of positive, hope for anybody that was involved in this, and for the heroes that never hesitated to go into a burning building to save people. And so many lost their lives, including dogs and so many EMTs and everything else. And the heroes, like Mr. Rogers said, in a catastrophe, look for the helpers. There's always helpers. And, you can't say any good came from this, but if it's one thing, it's the heroes that were born that day. So here we go, without further ado. And thanks, Mike, for this.
You're very welcome.
I'm Steve, and the guys that helped us build this car is Keith and Key. Keith being the artist, Keith being the artist, Keith being the painter who did all the blue paint. So we hear around the bumpers. Keith did all the art on the car. So we started with the hood. Well, actually, started with the bumper, and we did the bumper with all the stars and they're stitched. So this car is blessed. It has 3 stars underneath: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. We designed it because we wanted the towers. This will have a tilt hood eventually. This will tilt up. The towers will stand. St. Christopher's for the kids. St. Michael's for the firefighters and the priests. Put the city involved. On this side, we went down with the police department. They lost people. K9 unit, there's not a dog alive that was in search and rescue. It's been 20 years. Salvation Army, people don't know Salvation Army lost people. They were there. This is St. Mary on there. We went with Engine 18, lost all its crew.
Wow.
Came over the Brooklyn Bridge, last photo. Engine destroyed, lost the whole crew. We have 9/11, never forget, like in Candle Wax. This guy here, Rick Riscola, he worked for Morgan Stanley. He got, I believe, 2,000 some people out of the building. He was told when Tower 1 was hit, he was told to keep them at their desk. He said no. He was head of security. He says, I'm getting him out. Otherwise, we would have lost 2,000 some more people. He got him out, came back, counted, he was missing a couple people, I think it was around 4. He went back in. The last time he was seen, I was on floor 10, going upstairs to get him, and the tower came down on him.
Wow.
We lost
amazing.
him.
So many great people.
For the firefighters, this is the Iron Cross that was still standing there with a piece of sheet metal on it after the towers fell. This is the sceneries we put our first responders on, and the ladder companies that we couldn't get them all on here, but we got as many as we could. Remember, the Fallen is on here on the bottom, down here. This down here is the ship, the USS New York. The whole bow is made from the metal of the towers.
Right. Wow, amazing.
And then,
amazing car. So many things on here.
People don't know about the fireboat. Here's a little engine down here, 118. The fireboat was bringing people back and forth once the towers fell to Jersey and Staten Island. There was a couple of them. One guy got saved out of towers, got put in a fireboat, and then when the tower came down, the second tower, it crushed the fireboat, and he was trapped again.
Oh my God!
But he lived. They saved him. So twice he was trapped.
Amazing.
Then we have New York Police Department, New York Fire Department with the axe, and their symbol. And then here's our sponsors: Lots Res, BAPS, Mike McGarra's detail shop, Superior Collision, and Key Designs, the artist. This guy here is Jeffrey Giordano. He was Engine 3. He went back in the towers a couple times and he passed away. Marcy Sims, she was a police officer that died after 9/11 from breathing in all the
debris and fumes.
Debris and stuff. Yeah,
wow.
So we lost her to that.
Wow.
We were able to get the plate, WTC 2001,
wow,
from Pennsylvania. So we have
awesome.
World Trade Center 2001. 343 is the amount of firefighters we lost that day. On this side, we have the stations, Shanksville Volunteer Fire Department for Flight 93. Todd Beamer, who was there, the father, the priest, I can't remember his name. He's on the car. These are the sceneries that were actually taken off the internet of people. Here's other names of people, firefighters that we lost, and ladders.
It's incredible.
Yep.
Incredible work. And what year is this car?
2006.
2006. Mustang?
Yeah, Mustang GT.
Mustang GT. Amazing.
This all scenery. The white rose is always put out for the for 9/11. So we have the roses on here. Plate 93. We have EMS on the car.
Right.
Who are there? There's Engine 3. They lost a lot of people, which I showed you in the back. These two people are the pilot and the co-pilot of Flight 93.
Wow.
It's the pilot and the co-pilot. This whole fender tells a timestamp.
Wow.
We started out with a full hourglass that day. It was a beautiful September 11th morning. It was sunny, clear skies like we have today. And at 8:46, a plane flies into the tower, the North Tower. At 9:03, the second plane hits the second tower. And then at 9:37, the Pentagon's hit. Now if we come over here at 10:59, Tower 2 falls. And then at 10:07, Flight 93 hits the ground. Then at 10:28, Tower 1 fell.
It's amazing.
And now we're out of time. So you can see time's going crazy right here. You see all here, time clock going nuts.
And Steve, so what does this car mean to you?
So fast.
What does this mean to you, this car?
It's to bring, the whole car was built to bring people back together. We have so much division in the country right now.
Yes, we sure do.
And the only time people come together is when something tragic happens. So we hopefully it never happens again. We hope this brings people together instead of someone attacking our country again. So that's why we built it.
Thank you for doing this, Steve.
You're welcome.
Wow. 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 What do you gentlemen like to say about that? It's hard to talk after that, isn't it? Wow.
It is.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. I was just telling Billy the day it happened, I was working at a hospital, and we had a fireman from Wilmington that had come up and was teaching us a class on the proper way to wear an OBA, or oxygen breathing apparatus. And we were in class, and he broke up just give us a break. When I walked downstairs, stepped into the security office, and the guys were saying, "Look, the plane hit one of the towers." Well, just as we walked in and looked at the television, was when the second plane hit. And so we caught that full brunt of that. And it was just really mind blowing that of all the days that it happened, we had a fireman from Wilmington there teaching us a class that day. So some of his brethren were there in the buildings.
So many people connected.
It really hit hard.
Yeah.
My
So many
wife
people
That's
connected.
a good
My
job,
wife
Mike.
worked in the Twin Towers,
Yeah.
and the second plane that hit was the 72nd floor, and that was the floor that her company was at, and her entire company got wiped out. And thank God we had moved here. But if she was still living there, she would have been there. So
Oh,
amazing.
man.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
We lost
Yeah.
a lot of friends and family, people that we knew from high school. So,
So many people, it's, connected in so many different ways. I was, of course, from New Jersey, but I was in Alabama when it hit. So I understood a lot about the whole New York, New Jersey thing that was going on. But man, my kids were little. It just seems like it wasn't that long ago, but it was, but it just reverberates through time and comes around every year and hits us, like it does. And, we just remember everybody tonight in the best way possible, and understanding what I said in the first part of the show. Basically, it's all part of the journey, and love is eternal. So, if you do have somebody involved in that, talk to them, send them love and good energy. And they're not gone. They're just moved away from us for now, from our perspective. From theirs, they're just right there, So keep that love going, and let's remember them today. So thank you for that beautiful tribute. It was a wonderful way to open the show. You guys sent me all EVPs, and I don't know when you guys want to do that, but I'd love to hear some more about what you feel about Gettysburg. Was this your first trip to Gettysburg? I know, Michael, it was not your first trip, but was it also your first trip to Hoover House? So let's start with you this time, Billy, and tell us a little bit about, had you been to Gettysburg or Hoover House before? And if so, what do you think about it? What does it all mean to you?
Well, it was my second trip to Gettysburg, but it was the first trip to the Hooper House, and it was absolutely beautiful. It has a very, very unique energy to it, very calming energy.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so we really had a great time with you guys, especially the table tipping. That was unique.
Yeah.
Something else, huh?
Deeply affecting for me.
Absolutely.
It was.
Yes.
And then we got to investigate as well. So
yeah, you
And we
guys
did
got to
get
go
some
down in the
pretty good
cellar and all
evidence,
through.
especially-
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
upstairs.
yeah. And that's it. I love it,
Well,
Billy,
this
that
was
you
about
said,
this. Was,
go ahead, go ahead. We have a delay, so if I jump on you, it's not on purpose. I promise. So go ahead, finish what you were saying, darling.
well, I was just gonna say this was probably about my sixth or seventh trip to Gettysburg because originally I was about over 20 years ago, I joined a Civil War reenactment group. And so I had gone,
Love it.
I believe the 135th anniversary was the first time I went up there and did the reenactment at Gettysburg on July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, just like they did back then. And so it all had just tied everything together. My love of history, my relatives that served in the Civil War, and a lot of them that were in the battles at Gettysburg. My
Wow.
great grandfather Eliza Rich was in the 55th North Carolina, and they were one of the regiment that that got half of them at least got captured in the railroad cut on the first day.
Okay.
And then on Pickett's charge, he was in that charge, and he and his best friend got killed in the charge. And they had both made a promise that whichever one survived would take care of the other's family. So when my grandfather finally went home, after a few years, he lost an arm at the Wilderness and ended up going back to North Carolina and raising his family and his best friend's family.
Oh,
so it was
what a testimony to brotherhood, man. You know, I mean, we forget too that so many have given so much to give us the things that we take for granted every day, you know. And if you've been through a reenactment like that, I've always wanted to do it, but I said the only way I'm going to do it is if I get to be a soldier. I'll play one of the 5,000 women that fought in the Civil War, and nobody knew it, because you're not going to get me in a skirt standing by just, you know, watching everything happen. I got to get in that, you know. I earned it. So,
I can see
you know
that.
what I mean? You know,
We don't know
so that. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
So that I would always love to do that reenactment. What, sweetie?
You definitely would be a rifle toter.
Oh yeah.
You'd be in the front rank shooting at the Yankees, or in your case, you may have been shooting at my relatives.
You know, see, that's just it. You know, a lot of times you think about where would I have stood on that. You know what? The only thing I can say is I didn't want to be separated. That's the only thing I come up with. Not against one side or the other, but I just think that we would have had a hard time making it as little broken up states. You know, I think we would eventually been fighting each other and would have been absorbed into the next one and the next one. And that was the thing with me. It was like with Lincoln, it was the union, to uphold the union, you know, divided, you know, we cannot stand against each other. But everything else, I have nothing but admiration for both sides and the intestinal fortitude of both sides. And we lost a lot of young and promising lives throughout that war. And we need to remember it. We need to remember it, it's and honor it.
Well, we portrayed both sides. We portrayed the Confederates and the Union sides. A lot of events we go to, especially the ones that are held down south, you can't always get as many authentic Union soldiers. So what they call galvanized. So we'll dress as Union and fight as Union units. So we're there to portray all of the soldiers that served, all of their bravery and all of their sacrifice.
Absolutely, honey. I believe that. When I went to Gettysburg that one night that I think Michael's read about this, one of the first things I said was, I'm not even going to ask you what side you fought for. I don't care. And I said, look, at my sons are over there. I mean, I respect both sides. A lot of people go in, were you Union or were you this or you were that? I'm talking to the human being that's still here. If you're willing to listen to me, I love you all. Yeah, all Americans. And I said, I was born in New Jersey, and I said, my two sons right over there are born in Alabama. So eventually we all came together, and we have our little spats now and then back and forth, but we're all human beings inside, and just want our rights and want to, and want our freedoms and want to be left alone, basically, just so we can work hard and barely pay our bills and love our families. And that's what we want. That's what it is, and just enjoy the journey, the journey, So now, Michael, I know that had Billy, absolutely, Americans first. Now, Billy, you said that you had been to Gettysburg before. You said a couple times.
This is my second time going.
Second time. But you said now both of you, this was your first time at Hoover House.
Right.
Now, I know I asked Michael this before, but I'm going to ask him again. You felt the difference in the energy in that home, did you not? I know you said it was a calm energy. It's incredible.
Oh, yeah. It's very subtle. So I've been there 3 times. I've been to the Hoover House 3 times. The first time was with you last year when we went to the bash, and then we went over there. I think that's when you were there and you got choked in the basement, remember?
I did get choked in the basement.
Right.
Yes, I did.
That was last year. And
it was a lovely experience.
I stayed there in October by myself to just investigate the house alone. Pam and Steve were never there during the day. So, so I had the whole entire house to myself. It was great. Very quiet, very subtle. You really have to work it at times. When we have more people there and there's more going on, it seems like they're more active, or they're more willing to connect. Just like the night that we were there this past year.
Could you tell us a little bit about your time investigating it by yourself? Did you what did it feel like just being there alone by yourself?
Very, very peaceful. I'm different than a lot of other investigators or guests that stay there, and when people get freaked out and they get creeped out and they think that there's all these things, that house was so peaceful to me and so quiet. While I was there by myself, I didn't experience anything. And I did a lot of recordings. Didn't get any recordings while I was there by myself. So very interesting, and that was during the day. But then, when we have company there and we do the table tipping and things, and the house is busy, we get a lot of things. So it's interesting. I just feel that whatever's there likes to have people around.
I think you're right, Mike. I think you're right. And while you're talking, I'm kind of picking up too that I think the spirits that are there. Now, what I mean by this chat, and welcome in Eminem and Renice and everybody, and Holly. Love you, Holly. I love you, darling. Love you. Everybody I miss. Susan, hi, darling, all my wonderful mods. We're going to drop some links. I sent some links to some of the mods out there. If I missed you, it was just, I was so busy today. But Billy's got a book and we're going to promote that. We're going to promote Michael's things too. So send those links out anytime you wish, or wait till we're talking about it. That's fine. You know what you're doing. I'm not going to get involved. I got the best mods on the inner tubes. I promise you. So I love that question, Donnie. But while you're talking, I'm thinking, the spirits that are visiting, that have kind of helped out there at this house, not the ones that might be stuck or earthbound that get drawn there. I think that they kind of wait for, like you said, people to be there, or people they're familiar with, that they know that they can draw energy off, that they trust. They were probably there and just hanging back, keeping an eye on you, like, what's this guy doing here by himself? You know what I mean?
It's
But
definitely a portal too. I think
I do too.
some kind of portal, and I'm not a big supporter of that unless they really have good proof. And like I said, the first time I went there, I actually captured a good friend of mine who passed away over 12 years ago.
I was there.
And he was an investigator, and he was captured there. I was telling his story of how he passed away and all, and I did send you the EVP tonight, so hopefully you could find it and maybe play it. But just to show that he was a visitor just passing through, and it blows my mind. What's wild is he lived in North Carolina with me. That's how I met him. But he was originally from Pennsylvania, about an hour and a half north of Gettysburg. And he actually went home to visit his family for the first time after 6 years. He brought his 2 children, and the parents had never seen the children. He went up there to visit, took a nap on the couch on a Sunday afternoon, and he never woke up. And so he passed away up there. And when we were investigating there that first time altogether, it was the day before his anniversary of his passing. So
wow. And nobody knew this, but it's like one of those.
I hadn't even thought about it in a year or two. I had always honored his passing each year, and I'd post his picture. In the last few years, I'd just been so busy that I hadn't. And and Jim came upstairs and told me to please come downstairs, that somebody wants to talk to me. I was like, oh, right. Sure,
right.
Talk to me. And I'm like, okay, well, look, Jim is a sweetheart. And I was like, whatever Jim wants, I'll come down and I'll just sit there and do the table tipping. And we did. And I did ask, I have to put a recorder out, because all the table tipping in the world is not as valuable to me as the audio. So I put a recorder down, and we did our session. And it was very interesting, because strangers that I had never met before were describing him almost to the T. And he was a very unique, tall, giant-like guy. Looked like a lumberjack. That's what the woman said to me. She
was showing me flannel. He was showing me flannel. And I said, did he wear a lot of flannel?
Going, Chad, what the hell, So I just said information that they were asking. And at the very end, when we finished, that's when I told them what happened to him. And then everybody got real quiet. And it's wild. You remember Brandon? He was there with us. And he was standing in the foyer. And he was just standing there watching. And he said, just as we finished, he felt the breeze go right by his face.
Go right by him. Oh,
and just at that time is when I got the EVP stating what Chad was saying. So very interesting. Yeah.
It is very interesting. And all that together is Hoover House gives you, and yes, Nicole, Hoover House is, what would you guys say, about 26 miles from Gettysburg?
Yeah.
Somewhere around in there.
Drive.
About
Yeah.
that.
30 minutes west of Gettysburg. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's not far from so many other battles. Antietam and Harper's Ferry's not far from there. And all that, right? It's an amazing place to go. And it's a wonderful bed and breakfast. Yeah, it is. It really is. I love it there. It calls me. Gettysburg calls me all the time. It's absolutely lovely. And I think that the house helped pick the people that are in it now. And it just, I told James and Dave when I was on their show, I said, you just got the house. They were telling me they got a house, and that was just, with the berries and everything. And I said, this is going to be a beacon of light for so many people. That's the message I got, a beacon of light. And it really is. And I know the spirits there talking to everybody are kind of there when they know somebody's coming that they can get in touch with. I know some of you guys, know exactly what I mean. And they wait for that person to get there. And I've had friends that I've sent there, and I said, no, you go when you feel like you need to go. And by gosh, they'll start saying, there's a couple spirits here waiting on somebody to come. And by gosh, they show up. It's like, that's what I'm telling you guys. Your spirit guides, your people get with their people, and they're just as active over there trying to get, all of this together. And the people who need the message the most get that message, and the spirits that have the most energy to come through and give that message. It's absolutely incredible. Now, you guys, Donnie, you had seen table tipping before there. You were there twice, and
Yeah, that
were
was
involved.
last time was my second time with you. So last time with you was my second time. Yeah.
Right. And you guys, had you ever done table tipping or seen it done, Billy and James?
No, that's the first time.
I've just seen videos, but that's why I wanted to experience it myself also, because that was my first actual experience.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, when you hear about it, it sounds kind of silly, doesn't it? But, you know, they've been doing it since, you know, spiritualism hit way back in the day, you know? I mean, the whole thing, when was the big spiritualist movement? It was 1800s?
1860s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1860s.
Victorians around 1900. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And
late
It kind of died off after
1860s through
World War One, I
1900.
believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you happen to tell Donnie that I got an EVP while we were sitting there with him?
He's been chomping at the bit since he knew you guys were coming. And he said, I got to listen and tell him why, Donnie.
Well, just in case if the EVP might be in Korean, because I was speaking Korean at the time, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It was right either before or after, and Jim had asked the folks if they had a message for you, Donnie, and then I did get a voice, and
Great.
it sounds like a name. So I'm very curious to see if you recognize.
See what you think. So why don't we do that, guys? Are you guys ready to listen to some EVPs?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Always.
Yeah.
Now,
24 hours a
Yeah.
day.
24 hours a day. 24
I'm
hours
getting
a day.
my Google Translate ready just in case I have to translate some obscure word or something.
Well, what I did, the only way I could play them, and I hope you guys don't mind, is I put them together. The only way I can get sound on here is to put it with a picture. So what I did was combine some of Mike's lovely pictures of that night of us table tipping,
Cool.
and a couple things from the bash, and then the EVPs change with each picture. And I've done them twice.
Nice.
And I made the second one a little louder the second time around. So if you hear it go up, I was the one, you know, did that. So what we'll do is we'll pull up one set, and I think Mike's got a set here, and we'll go just because they're in that line. And you've got two sets because some of them came in later. I had to make two. Yeah. And then we've got some video of your wonderful projects, an absolute wonderful project that he's done, and it's available on Amazon Prime. We're going to tell you about that so you can see. So here we are. Susan Woodcarver said, so exciting. Go, Donnie. So here we are. Now, I have not listened but to one of these, and it was so interesting. And I let Uncommon Belief, my son, no, I didn't name him that. And he listened to it, and I didn't tell him. And he heard something totally different. And then I heard it, and by gosh, it sounds like that. So I want to talk to you guys and see what you think. But let's see what we've got here. I believe yours is up first, Billy. Do you want to take the reins on this? We'll listen, and I'll stop it, and we can talk about each one, and we'll go through it like that. Is that okay? Here we go.
Yeah.
As long as and if you guys can't hear it, let me know, and we'll see if I can get it louder for you. But you should be able to. And mods and everybody in chat, you guys let me know if you can hear it. I got them up pretty loud in the second time around. I know I am too. Be kind. She's so excited. Everybody's so excited. Look. Everybody's just going, I told you I got the best damn chat on the inner tubes. I swear to God I do. I beg anybody that wants to battle me on that, I'm going to win. Hi, Bobby. Welcome in, darling. Slinging bacon. All right, here we go.
Experience and no, just ask it a yes or no question. Is this a family member of Catherine's? Of course it is. Experience and no, just ask it a yes or no question. Is this a family member of Catherine's? Of course it is.
That's the one, Billy. Now, you had something written on there, and I don't want to say it yet. I want to ask the chat what they hear. Now, do you want to tell them where the EVP is? I think it's at the very end, is it not, of this one?
Oh, yeah, we can hear it.
Okay, I'm going to run it back, and I'm going to play it again two more times, and then you tell me what you think.
Yes, is this a family member of Catherine's? Of course it is. Stationary and no, just ask it a yes or no question. Is this a family member of Catherine's? Of course it is.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you guys, can you guys see the chat? Donnie, I think you can see it, right, Donnie? You guys can't see the
Yeah,
chat.
no,
I
we
don't
can.
know if.
I can see it.
Okay, a couple can. Okay.
I can't
Now
see.
this is weird. You can't see it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put up what everybody thought that they heard, and then I'm going to tell you what I thought. Okay. This is what they think they heard. Holly, Jose. You can see these now, right? Coming up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Susan.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Lindsay. She's a paranormal investigator too. We have a lot of them in here. Here we go. Nicole, AJK, and Holly again. Now she's here, and this is the first time. Now, what did you think it said, Billy?
I thought it said bullshit.
Now I'm listening to it, because when you get these little things, it'll have like, what they've named it in the audio file, right? So I always try to take that, and I'm trying to listen for the quiet, because these guys know how to do it. Now keep in mind, some of these were taken in a room full of several people, and some of them are very quiet where they're all by themselves, and they do what you're supposed to do when you're a paranormal investigator. They ask a question and then they get quiet and they give a chance for the response, and there's not a lot of people talking and stuff like that. In this case, it's at the very end. And when I first heard it, I heard, yes, it is. Yes, it is what I heard. And so many in here are hearing that. So, and once I heard it, the first time I heard bullshit, the second time I heard yes it is, and then forever after that was yes it is. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Mike, what do you think?
It's a very clear voice. Yeah, it's a very clear voice, but sometimes you can't make out what they're saying, but it is very clear. I'd have to listen to it again.
All right. One more time, sweetie. That's the fun of EVPs.
No, just ask it a yes or no question. Is this a family member of Catherine's? Of course it is.
Now I hear bullshit.
No, just ask it a yes or no question. Is this a family member of Catherine's?
That's funny.
I hear bullshit. Yeah.
There it is. Now I hear bullshit.
Is this a family member of Catherine's? Of course it is.
Bullshit.
I wonder if there's something about it, because I've actually had this experience. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this, where you have a picture and it's, it might be, somewhat distorted or not exactly clear. What I mean by a clear picture of something that seems to be a ghost in a picture, and show it to 10 people that don't believe, and they won't see it. And then you go to somebody else here and they go right to it. And I think EVPs are like that too, that we tend, what do they call that? Pareidolia, when you look at something and you're forced to make an image that your mind understands. I don't know about EVPs like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, but it sounds like an intelligent response to a question is what it sounds to me, for sure.
The most important thing you have to remember, for people like us that have been recording for years, it's not so much what the words are saying, but how clear it is.
Yes.
Because a lot of things we'll throw out. When we get B's and C's, we'll just throw them out. We won't even bother clipping them. But this is very clear. And your brain, different people's brains hear different things. But you got to look at it this way. Who even cares what it says? It's so clear, and it's such a powerful response.
Yes.
And that's a great EVP. I can't tell you exactly what it says, but it's so very clear. And
right.
That's amazing that we get.
Well, and that absolutely, it's amazing. And now I hear bullshit too, Holly. but like Mike says, that's a wonderful way to put it. It is so clear, be kind. It absolutely is. And that's what's so good about it, is like you get something like that, and it tells you so many things. First of all, they can hear
like
you
and
they're responding.
You hear it. Like I sent you one that I had captured from the 3rd floor the first time we were there. And I thought it was saying something about I believe. And when I listened to it tonight, it was super clear. And it was a person saying his name. And it says, I'm so-and-so. And I was like, wow, I didn't hear that last time. I even tagged it differently. So
it's incredible.
Sometimes our minds don't hear things, or we'll listen to an EVP a month from now and it'll sound totally different. So
Yep.
can't say what it is, but
And,
that's
yep.
very cool. And hopefully
Absolutely is. And like Be Kind is saying here, it's an intentional, deliberate reply. And that's like so important.
That's
And
important.
yeah, and you can tell it is spoken with intent. Exactly, Lindsay. Absolutely. It's really very meaningful, but it's also fun to try to figure out what they're saying, All right, Billy, this is your second one you sent me. I tried to do them in order, sweetie. So if I got them out of order, I apologize. But here comes the next one. We'll take just a second. I gave a little break in between.
Was it sickness?
Wow.
Wow, that was pretty breathy.
Yeah. Here comes again.
Was it sickness?
Wow. That's like trying so hard to push it out. The answer.
Billy, where was that recorded at? In the basement?
That was recorded upstairs
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's
on
strong.
the second floor.
That is a strong one.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
I couldn't quite make it out.
Uh-huh. But you can tell they're really trying. Now, it was a second floor. Was this do you remember what room it was in? Was it in the Holster room by chance? That's the one with all the books.
It wasn't in the master bedroom. No, it wasn't in that room. It was in the room across the hall.
Okay. And I don't know what difference that makes, but I know that there were several people that died right there on the floor in that one room. Yeah. And wow. And it to me, I don't know. I got a feeling of a female on that one. Just a female energy. I can't swear to it, but that was my first intent. Donnie, you're shaking your head. Yeah? You think so too?
Sounded definitely female to me.
Female, that's the feeling. Yeah, the energy you got. Me too. All right. That's awesome. You guys are, it's you get so excited when you get something. I get so excited for everybody too. It's amazing. Because to me, it's just another, I call it proof of life. Life after death.
Very hard when you have a house full of people and we have to disconnect from all the noise. And people are yakking it up downstairs while we're trying to record.
I know.
And we have to eliminate that and find a spot so that we don't. And we know the difference from people making noise versus the spirit. So, but it takes a lot of work, a lot of clipping. So, but that's a really good one.
I like it. I like the strength behind it. It sounds to me, because I get feelings off of them too. And the first thing I got was female energy, and then just something trying to push that out there. Again, we can't evaluate all the, all ghosts are not exactly the same. They all have different energy and different abilities and different frequencies and all kind of stuff. So the fact that they could just get that through and push that through into our world to be able to be taped is an amazing thing. So, all right, here we go to the next one.
Oh wow, I am wow, yeah, you definitely were supposed to be stable. There's a ton of messages here. Okay. Oh wow, I am wow, yeah, you definitely were supposed to be stable. There's a ton of messages here. Okay.
Now, where was that one, Bill? Is it the one on the very end?
Yeah, it sounds like a girl.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
At the very tail end, or is it the little burst in the center? Because it's hard for me to.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I thought.
It's a little burst in the center.
Holly's saying, she says it's a woman. They're all saying female. Holly's saying woman, saying okay. Sounds very feminine. It does. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, you need to carry heavy duty batteries. Yeah, it did as well. All right, let's move to the next one. Ooh. Oh, wow. Now, where was that one at? I'm going to run that one back again.
That was That was taken upstairs in the where the books were, the master bedroom.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna run that one back again. That
Where the two people died.
Holzer room.
Hotel room. Mm-hmm. Yep. They're saying female again. Listen close to this one. Here we go.
Yep.
Oh.
I'm not gonna get late for it.
Wow.
I'm not gonna get late for it.
Is there anyone in this room?
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys just heard that,
was
but that's wow. This one is very low frequency. Well, I don't mean low frequency as far as negative. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm getting a lower frequency, maybe a male. Listen closely to this one. Let me play it again.
Yeah.
Is there anyone in this room?
Oh, I don't know why that creeps me out. That would creep. I'm going to tell you what I think I hear. Chat.
Breathing, right?
Yeah, I hear more than that though. I'm going to play it one more time. Guys in the chat, what do you think you hear on this one? Yep, definitely sounds like a male. It's a guy for sure. Male energy all day long. I've got so many sensitives in here. Male energy. Yep. Be kind. Yep. I'm going to tell you what I hear after we'll listen one more time. Billy, do you have an idea on this one of what they're saying, what you think is being said? Before you say it, I want to tell you what I think it is.
I thought it said right behind you.
Right behind you. That's what I heard. Right behind you. And it just kind of creeped me out because like he was leaning in and going right behind you. You know what I mean? There's a couple guys, they won't, the spirits in that house won't let the male energies that are there that decide to stay there. They won't let them get out of hand, but there's a couple there that were something else in life. You know, they were bootleggers, they were gamblers, you know, they were, you know, guys, and it was the 20s and prohibition and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. But there's a couple there that play around a little bit, and this sounds like it could be one of them. But one more time, let's listen. Yeah, where were you on this one? Were you downstairs?
This was on the third floor.
On the third floor. Okay. I would have guessed cellar. Yeah. But they're all over the house, you know. But all right, here we go. Yeah, that one was creepy, Jose. Yep. Maybe I didn't go back far enough. Wait a minute. Let me go back. I didn't go back far enough. Sorry.
Is there anyone in this room?
I got.
Right behind you.
That's what I get.
Yeah.
Donnie, did you hear that too? That time, right behind you, you're just getting the.
I'm getting. I mean, the sound of a man like breathing.
Breathy, very breathy. Yeah, that's amazing, Billy.
There's actually five syllables.
Yeah,
that's what I hear right behind.
Yes, Michael. Now let me ask you this, guys. Were you together when you got this EVP? Were you and James? Because I know you were all guys all over the place. Were you alone?
No, I was upstairs by myself.
Okay. Did you get any feeling that somebody was there present? Did you get that kind of because that sounds all to me like a strong male spirit.
Yeah, I felt like something was following me around when I hit the second floor and then the third floor.
Yeah, well, that would follow true to it then, wouldn't it?
It wasn't aggressive. It was just more curious.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Very in charge man right behind you. That's right, Nicole. Yep. Holly's hearing it. Yep. There we go. All right. We got a couple more here, guys. It's fun, isn't it? It is fun.
passed away of old age?
What the hell is that, Billy?
It sounds like
That's
I don't know.
that sounded like a
It was
rush
weird.
to something. That sounded like a rush
Yeah.
of something, like a. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think that was a motorcycle from outside or a car.
You think so? Could be that.
Oh, yeah.
Could be. But that was, yeah, that was something. What do you guys get? Yeah. Wow. It just, yeah, it could be a motorcycle. I don't know. Next one.
Was it a happy life?
Mm.
Was it a happy life?
That's no, plain as day. You guys getting no?
Yeah,
I heard that.
I got tough.
Sounds like a woman.
Yeah.
No.
What did you get? It sounded like what?
Tough.
Woman.
I
Tough.
asked, did they have a good life? Tough.
Oh,
Yeah, tough.
okay. Okay. Let me hit it one more time.
Was it a happy life?
So you understand.
Could very well be. I hear James. He's on the next one. Tough. Let me try to get one more time on that one. One more time.
Happy life?
Could be a no as well. Either tough or no. You know what I mean? It sounds so weird the way it bends, but it's a definite response to your question. That's like Mike says, above and beyond
rough.
everything. Clear. You're rough or yeah. Ooh, man.
Rough.
But female, everybody's getting female on that one. Yep. Okay,
Definitely
here we
female.
go.
Oh, yeah.
Here's another. And this is all us, by the way. This is us sitting at the table at various times of the night. This is, of course, everybody that was there that night. So you're seeing different pictures as these things were going on as well.
You understand the questions we ask? Is that true? So you understand the questions we ask? Is that true?
I heard
a clear
yes.
yes. I heard a clear
I heard yes.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
That's what I heard.
You guys hear yes? Yep. Yep. Here we go. Wow.
Did you follow me in this room?
Oh.
I'm like, yeah.
That one got me. I don't know why. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you follow me in this room?
Billy.
Yeah, that one's pretty clear.
Where were you with this one? Do you remember?
That was across the hall from the master bedroom.
Was this the same? Could this have been the same one that said that they were right behind you? Like, was that you were left that one room and
Yeah,
went to
the
another?
voice-
Was it completely different time?
Yeah, the voice sounded the same.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm
the voice
saying.
sounded
It
the
sounded.
same.
Yeah.
Guys, did you hear that? I mean, it sounded the same. I got the same feeling when I heard it as I got the one right behind you. So I don't know if you guys picked that up. That's pretty cool. Clear as day. Be kind saying, yep. Wow. That one had a little something on it. I'd like to hear that one more time. If y'all don't mind. Here we go.
Did you follow me in this room?
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. That's something else, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's just,
Yeah.
that's just good, clean fun. I mean, here's the thing is there could have been 8 other spirits, 20, 30 other spirits, in that house that decided not to answer. They don't always play the game. They don't always, a lot of times they just watch us walk around and act like fools and make fun of us, I think, behind our backs right in front of us. But to have them answering you like that. Now, did you find this in real time? Are you using a piece of equipment where you can play it back and know that you got something, so you could stop and have a conversation with him and see if he was willing to tell you more? Or do you go after the fact and then find them?
After the fact.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Incredible. What do you think about?
I like to do it after the fact.
That's pretty cool, though. That's pretty cool.
I don't like them. I know a lot of people use these other recorders that that you can play back very quickly. Okay. I don't like that either. I'm like Billy. If I'm going somewhere for 5-6 hours, I'm running for 5-6 hours. Then I'll redo, in the coming weeks. I feel stopping and listening to something while you're on investigation is, first of all, it's not professional, and you're taking away time. And what do the spirits think about you sitting there listening back to this? It just, I never felt it to be really very professional. So
that's a great point of view.
They have their own way of doing things, but old school dogs like us will run. If we're doing 6 or 8, 12 hours, we're going to run those recorders all the time and then listen to it. Yeah, it takes a lot more work, but we're going to find a lot more things, and we'll come out of a case in one night with 40 or 50 EVPs versus somebody stopping every 2 minutes to listen to the recorder. So
makes a lot of sense, Michael. Makes a lot of sense when you say it like that.
Right.
It does. And I, for all my paranormal investigators here in the chat or that are listening, you might want to consider that. Like if you're going to go to a place and you have access like 2 different days or 2 different parts of the day, if you're used to recording like that, stopping and listening so that maybe you could have a conversation, or if you're using other equipment that do that, maybe consider what they're telling you here. And maybe the second half, just run tape, or the second day, run tape and see if you get a difference there, because I can see there being aspects to both, but I love Michael's take on the whole thing as far as what do the spirits think when you're doing that, for walking through. You might get a whole conversation walking through, in little pieces like that. I think you did, Billy, because I think you got the same spirit there at least twice. Yeah. Because I got the same feeling off of the energy. Yeah. If that makes sense. It's amazing.
It was the same guy.
Yeah, I think so too. I really do. Well, great. Michael, let's listen to some of yours. You've got 2 little sets here, and then we're going to take a break in between and watch a little bit of the trailer for your show, and you can tell us about that too. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you for that, Billy. That was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, you're welcome to come on anytime, several times throughout the year. You go do an investigation, you want to bring stuff on, tell the story about where you've been and the history of the place and whatever you're interested in. We'd love to have you and bring us more like that, because it teaches us so much. Everybody in here has a different interest in, in this whole wide, aspect of the paranormal, supernatural, metaphysical, subject. And everybody learns from everybody, Thanks. Some of my mods are dropping your book here. Billy, tell us a little bit about that book.
Well, the book is entitled The Paranormal.
Right.
I wrote it to be a kind of a simplistic book, but it explains a lot about the do's and don'ts as far as investigating to help protect yourself against more negative aspects of the paranormal. So it's kind of like a handbook for beginners.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. And that is available on Amazon. There's the cover. And I highly suggest, if you're interested in learning, all that. And the mods are dropping the link to that book on Amazon in the chat right now. Terrific. Thank you, guys. Thank you, mods. Yeah, so that's great. So it's a kind of a beginner's guide to paranormal investigation, and also protecting you against the more negative things that are out there and stuff like that, which again, I highly recommend, because I've warned some people that didn't take my heed, and, things happen, we have to keep reminding each other that this is a wonderful thing, but it's also not really a game. You can't, we've seen the difference in people's intent of going in and asking impertinent questions and being a jerk and what do you call it?
Provoking.
Trying to trigger. Yeah, provoking and triggering the spirits and stuff like that. You're going into somebody's space and being rude. and you're probably going to get what you give back, if you get anything at all, because most of them are just going to not have anything to do with you. At Hoover House and many places that gentlemen like this investigate, they get such great evidence because their intent is good. They're kind-hearted. They're smart individuals. They're tech savvy, but they're also their energy is so, the first word that comes to my mind is humane and positive. Yeah. It's just, they know that they're talking to human beings and they don't treat them like garbage, and you're going to get good quality evidence in a situation like that. And also you might have a chance to help somebody, because again, if you were stuck, wouldn't you want help? So that's just something to keep in mind. I believe the intent it's all about intent and why you're doing it and your kindness. I'm sorry?
You don't always know what you're going to be running into when you walk in. Like mostly what Billy and I do are private investigations in people's homes, because people are scared. They don't know what is going on. So when you go in, you don't know if you're dealing with a human or non-human. And if you go in provoking and being a jerk about it, you can get hurt. They can do things to you, believe it or not.
Yes.
And
yes.
They can follow you home and make your life hell if you're
live in
rude.
hell.
So
Absolutely.
Be careful.
Absolutely. And that just reminds me, I agree. I know you agree with that too, Michael, don't you?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, us being around a long time and doing this for a long time, we see the newer generation of what they're calling investigating, and it's a game. It's a game for them. It's thrill seeking. It's notches in your belt on how many different places you can go where everybody else goes. That doesn't interest me. I'm not interested in it. I've been helping families for years. I also love historical locations.
Yes.
I just recently went to Monticello, Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, wow.
And I actually got some recordings from there of spirits. But that's something that I've always loved, because that's kind of how I started the Heritage Hunters, with that background. But we can both attest, both our groups can attest to the newer things that are being done out there and these new gadgets and everything. And it's not good. It's not good. A lot of people provoke and things, and it is serious, and you can affect your health. You can get things to bring home. Going into too many places for a long period of time, it will affect your health. You really have
and
to
then you
learn.
leave the family.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In a worse state.
When you provoke, you leave the family. Yeah, in a worse state.
Yes, you certainly do. You certainly do. And I'm going to tell, what Steve, what I told Steve once, and he tells this story all the time. It's like, first of all, you have to remember the human beings. I'm not one, like when people say, I want to go to Sachs Bridge and see if I can get the spirit to smoke a cigarette. And I said, hell, I'm going to smoke a cigarette and go try to cross the person that's on the bridge. He shouldn't be here. I'm going to go have a talk with him. He might not want to go, but why are you there? It's like that. It's the same reason that, freak shows were in carnivals for so long, and people just, they want to go see something different, and then they come back, and it's almost like in Jurassic Park, where they say first comes the oohing and the eyeing, and then comes the running and the screaming. It's not a game. We have to do things like for a month before I went to Gettysburg, I was doing all kinds of things to, try to get myself in the right frame of mind. Who was going to need, I might not have an experience or be part of something, but I knew that I was there. And if I was going to Hoover House, I was going to let them use my energy. James and I were absolutely wiped out because we were there for everybody else. And so was Jenny. And, so though people who needed to get the message got the message, but when you get a message like that in a group, it's really for everybody in a way. It might be very personally touching to the person that they're talking to, but keep in mind, you're getting evidence before your eyes that tell you that, yes, life goes on. And there is still that connection, and there's still love connects you, and that energy never dies. And that's a very important message. Once you're past that, everything else is just gravy to me. You know, I mean, that's it. It's just all put together. This is a huge amount of evidence to prove that very fact right there. Now, I've got the first set you sent me, Mike, right here, and I did the same thing. So I did twice. And put it with some pictures so we could, you know, I can play it for you guys. Here we go.
See, I'm not sure that. See, I'm not sure that. See, I'm not sure that.
Oh, wow. Yep. Let me play that again. I'm getting that. That was a long one. It's almost sing-songy.
Yeah.
Right, guys? Listen real close. That's the part, isn't it? That sing-songy part. Listen to this again.
I'm not sure that. See, I'm not sure that.
Definitely a female. Definitely sing-songy. I'm not hearing a word, but I'm hearing like a. Now, when was that one taken, Mike? Can you remember?
Oh, when I tell you what it is. That was up in the Holzer room, and that was the first time I had been there. And me and Brandon went up there first, and Brandon walked in the room, and he said, and he's very sensitive, and he said, I don't like this room. There's just something about this. I feel something weird in here. And with that, Jim's brother-in-law, Bob, came up, and he was just showing us the different rooms. And he was talking nonchalant, and with that, we get a woman, and she's kind of singing.
Yeah.
And what I got is, I'm feeling used. I'm feeling used. So,
I'm feeling used.
Yeah, and she's singing.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's listen again. Oh, bless her heart. Oh, see, now I got to go talk to her. Here we go.
I'm not sure that. See, I'm not sure that.
Yes, now I hear it. I'm feeling used. You know, that's definitely not what we want now. Again, here you have an EVP where she's singing almost, I'm feeling used, you know. Yeah. What does she mean by that? You know, is she feeling that from her life? Is she feeling that right now by, you know, trying to perform? Is that what the spirits are feeling when we do this? Or is she talking about something else? And that's why you need the whole bushel basket of sensitives, intuition, your own common sense, you know, the whole thing. You have to use all of it. These people that go in on these shows that say, okay, I got, you know, a help me, and this is, you know, such and such who, you know, died in the field or died of smallpox in the house. They don't know that. They're just making stuff up. And I think the worst thing to do, or jump into conclusions, let's put it that way. And then you don't really know from that. Yeah. But she sounds like she's sing-songy.
And it was very interesting that Brandon had just stepped in the room.
Yeah.
And the first thing out of his mouth was, oh, I don't like this room. I feel something. Just as he said that, that's kind of when I got it, as Bob was talking. So it was interesting. And I told him, I said, wow, I said, that's a great way to, you know, to prove that what you're sensing is that we're getting the EVP right next to what you felt. So that was cool.
Yeah. I told him he was more sensitive than he thought, Brandon.
Yeah, he's working on it.
Yeah, he is.
He's had experience since he's a kid, but now he's finally working on it, you know.
Yeah, he's a great guy too. He's a great. Yeah. He was on with Mike last time. It's around this time last year, and go back and look at that episode. It was terrific. Eddie was on with you. I just absolutely love your friends, every single one of them that you bring in. It's just absolutely wonderful.
The
heart and the feeling is just like you're instant friends. As soon as everybody meets, you feel like you've known them for just about ever, you know. And it's just, you know, that's just the way everybody's just opened up in this. It's a wonderful group to be a part of. I promise you guys. You got to come down, guys. You got to come down. Come to Hoover House. Here we go. Now that one almost like a railroad tracky feel.
Yeah.
Let's go. Go ahead. Where were you?
That's my friend Chad, and that
Oh.
was the first time we were visiting, and I went down and I was sitting doing the table tipping, and I had told everybody as the session ended how he had passed away. You know, he didn't wake up from his sleep. We don't know if it was OD. We don't know if it was a heart attack, but he left a 3 and a 5-year-old child behind.
Oh.
And just as I told everybody that, everybody was like, "Oh my God!" And then they got quiet, and that's when that EVP came in, and he said, "I'm pissed." And he said it once. I put it in a loop so that you can hear it better. So play it again. But yes, definitely listen again.
Listen again. And I don't blame him for being pissed. You know, and I was getting that. I think at one point in time I leaned over and said that he was mad or something. Not angry at the people.
No.
But
mad at himself.
Let's put it this way, like frustrated, like really frustrated is what I was getting. Yeah. Does that, you know, make sense? And you said it possibly went with his personality. So, but wow, here we go. Oh, God bless him.
Yeah, that sounded like I'm pissed.
It certainly did.
Yeah.
It certainly did. Well, I know that you were very glad when you got that because it just validated for you, Michael, that he was there. Because I know
it was very upsetting to me. Yeah,
I can imagine. I can imagine, and I'm sure you've reached out.
To capture him. 12 years I tried to capture him since he died in 2009, and then after 5 or 6 years, I just moved on. And then to not even think about him and him to show up at the Hoover House, that was pretty wild. And it's definitely him. I mean, I could play you voices of him, and that's him. That's his voice.
That's him.
Yeah, it's him.
You know, I'm so glad you got that. You know, maybe now you know when you reach out, he can. You know this. He can hear you.
Portal. It is definitely a portal for spirit.
Absolutely.
No reason to be there, and and like I said, he passed away about an hour and a half from there. So it's just as wild. It blows my mind that I'm there and I'm working with everybody, and he shows up.
Well, he was probably there before. The way Hoover House works is he was probably there waiting because he knew you were coming. I mean, it's just amazing how it all works together. And if you talk to some of the people that are at the Hoover House, like James and, everybody there, they'll kind of tell you that they're seeing this pattern, like they'll get somebody that's like, I'm here for somebody that's coming tomorrow. They're already there, like excited about it. Yep. Ann Palmer says, yep, I'm pissed. That's it. God bless him. Let's hope that he's, let's hope that he's better now. Then that coming there, usually what happens there, Mike, is the spirits that are there that are kind of the gatekeepers, like we have gatekeepers here in our chat. They're kind of the ones that try to help the other spirits come through so they can get to their people and get their message. And they usually help them. They don't just send them back. They try their best to help them. So maybe,
and what's so nice about Jim is Jim has even told Chad that he's welcome there anytime. And, this may be a great outlet for him now because he is pissed and maybe he's had nobody to talk to since 2009.
Right.
Think about it. Who other than real investigators and people that knew him would communicate with him. So I really do believe that that's the first time he's actually communicated since he passed away. And maybe now he has found he can connect with people through the Hoover House. Yeah.
And I think that's the whole purpose of this place. I really do. I think it's just only beginning to be what it's going to be. I really do. Absolutely. Yeah. And he's in good hands and, we'll go back and we'll visit and we'll check up. But I bet you the next time we do, he's going to be better, because they're working through all that. I think it's great. All right. Now what we've got, if I can find it here, I think I have it. I have so many little boxes here. Tell us now, Michael has an absolutely wonderful project. Now, tell us about the project, when you started. The first season's done, and you're working on the second one, are you not?
First episode is done.
First episode.
Yes, it took me a long time. That first one was an accumulation of 11 investigations over the years. So started back in 2010, and our last one that Billy and James helped me with, I think it was 2018, somewhere around there. And then I did one more in 19. So I had to go through all those things and build that show from there. But so that's my first episode, Journey Through the Past on Prime Video TV, and people can check it out and watch it. It's real, it's raw. Everything that you see on there is 100% genuine. Some of the footage is from 2010, which I had no idea back then I was ever going to be creating a show. So some of all the footage is kind of rough as far as cameras and things, but I wanted to show how we really started and where we started with that location. So I didn't mind putting in the rougher video. So I get a little flack from all the armchair experts out there on Prime, bashing it for that. But who cares? I don't really care.
Yeah.
So
this is a labor of love, and it's also it's what I said in the beginning. It's the fact that Michael and a lot of these gentlemen and friends that helped him, throughout the years to do this, it's basically to keep history alive, to learn from history, who lived here, what happened here, what's happening now. Are the ghosts of the people still here? And he mixes it all together. And I have a lovely trailer. If it's okay with you, Mike, we're going to go ahead and play that. Okay, you guys are going to love this. It's right up everybody's alley in this chat and the people that are listening. This is everything we love about the paranormal and history all rolled up into one. I highly recommend it. And again, where we see it again is on Prime TV.
Yeah, Amazon Prime Video TV. And
there you go.
Yeah, Amazon, it's free to watch. It's doing really well here in the UK and got over 500,000 views already.
Wow.
Doing great.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Welcome in, Terry Brown. And thank you so much, Big Cole, for that super sticker. Every penny of all of your wonderful contributions here, whether it be a super sticker. Thank you, Big Cole. And we love you for that. It goes right into keeping this show on the air. I promise you, it always does. And I thank you for that. I thank you for the super chats. If you can't super chat, that's fine. Go by, take a moment to go and hit the like, the thumbs up, so we can beat these algorithms and the YouTubes. And why? Because we love YouTube so much, but we have to beat their algorithms because Cisco's show is kind of shadow banned because sometimes I run my mouth a little too much, but I'm not going to stop. So go ahead and do that if you can. And if you can't do that, go in and comment after the fact when the video is posted up, and all those wonderful comments and you guys talking in there, that also helps. So everybody can help in the way that they can. And just being here, I thank you so much. Let's watch this wonderful trailer. Thank you, Michael, for letting us show this. Here we go. Journey Through the Past. I love him. Absolutely love it. There it is. There it is. And see you guys beautiful faces on there too. So you were part of this. What was
Oh
it
yeah.
like to be a part of all that history and everything?
We loved it. We loved working with Mike, and the place is phenomenal. It's just a very good energy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And there's several
Billy
spirits
and
there.
James helped me so much. Billy and James, Eddie, and all the guys, his groups, and many others. Like I said, we probably had about 7 or 8 different teams, all come in at different times, and just to really, instead of me just doing a bunch of cases by myself or with 1 or 2 people, I wanted to bring in really good seasoned people and see what they could experience there too. And that's what the show's about, really is.
It's wonderful. And I love how you talk to the people that work there and they tell their stories and the history that they remember. And I know that you also done other things in ghost towns, like little towns that might have been like, say everybody worked at the mill and then the mill shut down and everybody just gets up and leaves, and the way they left things, and to go back through that and to record that for time, for the future and for now and for the future. These are the kind of shows that you want to show your grandkids and your kids and the young ones, that you're able to talk about how ghosts do exist, and there is a wonderful magical thing out there, and try to get them when they're young to not only appreciate the kind what human beings and the spirit and the soul is all about, and how love never dies, and and to try to go through life like that, and also tell them you're responsible for the last generation is responsible for you being here, and we're responsible for the next generation and what we leave them and how we leave their minds and their hearts. This is the kind of paranormal show you want to show them, because the appreciation of history, of storytelling, of kindness, of the way to investigate, and how to use the equipment, and how to sit down and listen to somebody tell a story and get that down on tape if you can. These are all very important things. I love the whole project and I highly recommend it. And I love you guys.
Well, thank you. We love you too. My number one thing was to make a show for other investigators that want to see real things, that don't want to see these idiotic shows that are out there.
Yes.
99.9 in my book is what's out there, and it's not real.
No,
there's nothing real out there.
It's like 90%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what we're doing,
more.
I'm hoping I start a trend where other people will do this with their own shows and show their real evidence, because we really don't have any platform to show our really good evidence. You want to be on some big show and be a guest on Ghost, I won't say names, but people with bacon, and it's that's why I want people to make their own shows, go out there and produce their own shows and show.
It's a wonderful idea. I mean, adopt like a little town, or go to the historical society, start looking up the history of a place, go around to some of the places out there, talk to the people that are in town that might have been grew up there, and get those stories. Yeah, it does. But it's a great project. Wouldn't you rather leave a project like that?
A lot of people will go do an investigation one night, and they'll film it, and then they'll make a whole show about it for one night. And that's not what we do. Like I put a minimum of 3 to 4 years into each place that I investigate to even think about doing an episode, because the number one thing is I want to have really good evidence for the show. Otherwise, why are you watching a paranormal show? I don't care about the groups and all the different team members and their personality. We're not supposed to be the stars. We are not.
I love that.
Spirits and the ghosts of the stars. And you take all these shows and throw them away, get rid of them, and put out real shows with real evidence, and not highlight the investigators, just show who they are and what they're doing. It would be a better paranormal world for us to watch.
There you go, folks. I highly agree. It takes more to be a paranormal investigative group than just having t-shirts that match. So the whole thing is, like we said, putting all that into there. And you heard what Michael said. He says years in one place to get everything. And I think that way, Hoover House is actually one of those spots because they're actually taking down. I told Jim, I said, have a book there where people can write down their experiences, take that, but also the paranormal groups. Don't tell them we found this here, we found this here. Wait till it's all over and then talk to them and see what matches up. And we kind of did that a little bit with our incident in the cellar. We had, do you remember when they were, everybody was getting out, they were calling her Allie. And what I was getting was, no, I was died in the alley. Alice's son.
Right.
And they were getting it messed up. And she was very adamant about that. Yeah. And later on, they had 4 to 5 more people that went down there, didn't know anything about it, had a similar experience. And when I sat down with James after the table tip and we were talking, and I said, I know this sounds strange, but I really felt like she wasn't stuck. I think she was coming back for some reason to help the guy who killed her. And I've heard this more than once from different types of situations, but if you can imagine how we can do that after we're dead to try to move through all of that, like she would maybe be stuck or tethered because of this situation, or forgiveness. We hear that a lot too, but they have not heard from either one of those spirits after about a month after we left. And James and Mike and some of the other ones were working on that, and you never know. You never know.
We got things while we were down there. So
yeah,
Billy got tapped on the shoulder. I have a few EVPs from down there. Pam is the one that has an amazing photo from there.
Oh, she does.
Oh yeah, and that'll be on my Gettysburg episode. I'm going to include the Hoover House.
I love that.
She got an amazing photo.
It's like a full figured shadow person. And
half the whole upper body you can see, and then the bottom is like smoke. You know, like no less. So and it's coming out of the concrete. So
it's amazing.
Yeah,
it is truly amazing.
And you gotta, but
Terry.
it's a culmination. Yeah, especially with the Hoover House there. What's great is so many people are going there. So many people are going there, and we're all working. And I love to submit things. I tell them anything I send them, please share it with anybody. I don't care. I want people to hear and see what we've captured,
and to learn. Yeah. Thank you so much, Terry Brown, for that super sticker. I love you, darling. Thank you so much. I have the absolutely best chat. And wow's the word for tonight. That's for sure. Yep. Lindsay's saying something here. We put 3 years investigating one place. We knew the spirits by name eventually. Yeah. And see, that's it. And they get a repertoire with you. They get to use, get to know you too. And maybe can open up some. And I like to think that if we're doing stuff like that, we're being of some kind of a comfort too, in some ways, for that. And also, like I said, if it was somebody you loved, wouldn't you want them helped? So you got to think that when you're going in there, rethink. And I know everybody here that's a paranormal investigator, they feel the same way. But I think it started to be, I want evidence. I don't care what it is. I'm going in to get evidence. And then it's the provoking, and it's the, all the other stuff, just trying to get something to happen. Like when I went to Gettysburg, and a guy who was giving the tour said, some guy came here and was whistling Dixie on the Union side or something like that, got punched in the stomach, and basically, got an EVP after that and said, what you did was wrong. I mean, it was just so, but why would you go antagonize people that went through so much? You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, some of these people that are going in there couldn't have lasted a daggum day in the Civil War. No. These people deserve our respect. They deserve our thanks, whatever side. And I think you'd be hard pressed to find 100 that could do it these days, for the people that are of the age. It's just a different mindset. These people, if you don't understand Pickett's charge, not only once they got there, and if you've never walked Pickett's charge, I highly recommend you do it. Walk it, and imagine being facing what they were facing that day. When they got across and the South started to fall back, the Union stopped firing upon them out of respect. And when they did get to the other side, they rallied up and were ready to go again.
Yeah.
Be hard pressed to find people doing
Speaking
that.
of Pickett, speaking
ahead,
of
honey.
Pickett's charge, one of the reenactments that I was participating in one year, it was probably 140th. Myself and 3 other guys from my regiment, we all went to the North Carolina monument there on Confederate Avenue where they began the charge. And we were carrying a Confederate flag, a national flag, and also a North Carolina flag. And we got in formation, all 4 of us, and we marched all the way across, reenacting Pickett's charge.
Right.
And as we were walking across there, I don't know if it was the wheat that we were walking through or whatever, but all of a sudden it sounded like mini balls were shooting past our head.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, we all looked at each other at the same time, and it was like, did you just hear something? Yeah. Or was I imagining it? And they said, no, sounded to me like bullets were flying past my head. And we marched all the way across, and it would come in waves where it would just sounded just like we were being fired upon. And so it can be very time.
It can be very intense. It's almost like
on the ground. Yes.
Absolutely. And it's almost like so many different encounters happen to reenactors there at Gettysburg and Fredericksburg and other reenacted things. I think basically it makes it almost easier with all that energy for whatever you want to call it, for them to come through, for the 2 worlds to intersect there for a little bit, and just for a brief shining moment, maybe it comes over, and all of that energy and everything. I think so many there, you've got everything on that field. You've got the ones that are just stuck in a loop. You've got the ones that just are going to keep standing there until they're properly relieved. I've, walked into that kind of situation, that being a soldier yourself, and it's just, it's so sad to hear that. It's like, we can't leave. We're still here. You don't know what they're seeing, but in that moment, somehow those 2 worlds blend together, and they're actually seeing you in their world. And it's an insane thing to imagine. But I think that has to do with a lot of the sightings during reenactments. We've got that famous one in Devil's Den where several reenactors are sitting there among the rocks waiting for the next shooting. I believe they were shooting a film or shooting. It could have been Gettysburg. It could have been another reenacting. There's a lot put out there by the Historical Society and different ones there. But they were sitting there, and that's that famous story where an actual ghost, which they thought was another reenactor, handed them over 2 full powder rounds, the cartridges, the paper with the gunpowder and stuff in it. And they went and had it analyzed, and it was of the period. That was there at Gettysburg and Devil's Den.
That was very similar. Michael just recorded me on an experience that I had at Sachs Bridge.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I don't know how many of you are aware of it, but the farm that is back behind Sachs Bridge, that's where they actually filmed the majority of the movie Gettysburg. And so one of these years, when we were doing the reenactment there, one night after the day's shootings and reenactments were over, me and a few buddies, we were headed towards Sachs Bridge to check it out. And as we were going towards the bridge, we noticed about 3 or 4 other, we thought, reenactors coming towards us, Confederates. And as we passed them, they said, are you guys ready and prepare for tomorrow? And we said, yeah, we're pretty good. We're loaded up. Says, all right. Said, so this could be a hard day's fight. So if you need anything, let us know. Well, they went on past us, and I just looked at the other guys and said, man, I got to talk to these guys. They've got the look,
Mm-hmm.
So I got to find out where they got their uniforms and things.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, man. I turned around and they were gone.
Wow.
And I apparently had a full apparitions, three or four of them, because when I turned around, we were out in an open field and they were nowhere to be seen.
Wow.
So, yeah, it can definitely the atmosphere can add a whole another dimension.
It certainly can. It certainly can. And I mean, I had a small one similar, but mine was almost like I can't really explain it. It was almost like I was caught in some kind of a time warpy kind of feeling. This was in Alabama, kinda, but it was in Alabama, and it was during a little skirmish battle there in outside of Huntsville, Alabama. I mean, gosh, there were skirmishes everywhere, all throughout there in Tennessee and you name it. They were always bumping into each other. Little something with pickets and, 2 picket crews would come in and they'd all battle up, or cavalry and somebody, real quick little battles that you never hear of, but they happen. So they were having a reenactment there.
Little skirmishes.
And yeah, little skirmishes. And as I'm walking through the field, I'm talking to these guys because you met me once. You already got me pegged. I ain't scared of shit. And I'll walk right up and I start talking to people just like I know them all my life, because that's how you just do it. So I'm up there and I got my sons with me, and I said, I'm going to go talk to these reenactors because I respect what they do. I said, half of these guys, they're down to the stitch trying to be being
correct.
Correct. Very correct. And everything else I said, I want to talk to them and tell them how much I enjoyed this and how important I think it is for these young men that are with me. My sons were like 9 and 6 at the time, somewhere around in there, for them to see what went before them and how they're still here, our country and everything else. I mean, gosh, we owe it to our ancestors. Forget through what they got through, we wouldn't be here, plain and simple. So I'm up there talking to them, and these guys just took to me like, and there was about, I'd say 9 or 10 of them, and we're all just walking together, talking in a big circle, and I'm in the middle of, you couldn't even see me because these are all great big dudes, and I'm just down here just take control of everything. And I'm saying, well, tell me what's the most important thing to you that you're wearing today. What means the most to you? And they tell me the little things like I'm carrying a sword that my my great, whatever carried through the battle of something, whatever it might be. They're telling me their little stories. And as this one man turns and to look down at me in the center of the circle, and he said to me, I'll never forget it. He said, little lady, you're one of us, aren't you? And I said, I thought he meant, because I was talking military terms and things like that, that maybe, I was a soldier and he was picking up on that. Because, you can tell, you don't lose all of it. You carry it with you, cut corners. I still cut corners. So the way he looked at me, and I said, well, yes, sir, I believe I might be, and I just smiled up at me. He smiled down at me. And he's like you said, he had the look. I mean, he was just, and where it wasn't in his uniform. It wasn't on his face. It wasn't in the way he walked. It was in his eyes. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he had that look.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I smiled at him and said something. Yeah, something cute to him. I was like, yes, sir, I believe I might be. And then I turned around, somebody else said, so I turned back and he's gone. That circle had closed back in. And that whole thing at that moment, it felt like for a second I was there. I could hear things still going on. And it was almost like they were surrounding me, like a protection thing. They all kind of moved in. And as I looked down, I really felt like I was wearing a uniform. As I looked down and I started to see, it was like that moment in Somewhere in Time. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, But when Christopher Reeve looks down and sees that penny in his hand and he starts pulling back out of it, that's what happened to me. And all of a sudden we were walking again and all the sound changed and the atmosphere went back to normal. I don't know what you would call that, but that was amazing to me. That whole feeling. That's what, yes, thank you. Time slip like.
Yeah.
You know, but I've often wondered too, if we're not, those of us that are drawn to serve the way we were, you know, I don't know why, you know, everybody does it, but the way I was, I honestly, I'm a full believer in reincarnation, because I figure, why the hell not? You know, what do I know? I have more for it than against it. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be open-minded about it. And I really think that I fought the Civil War. And if I had to peg it, I'd say it was Gettysburg, because it calls me, I'll pass 150 battlefields to get to Gettysburg. You see what I'm saying? I wonder about that. And I'd like to look into it more and experience, you know, investigate that more and think about it. Because it's not the first story I've heard about people going and souls, recognizing souls. You know what I mean? And being drawn back to something like this. Very interesting.
Oh, yes.
Very interesting. Well, I'll tell you guys, this is awesome. I want to get these last couple of EVPs in here that Mike sent to make sure we get to hear them. Are you ready for that, Michael? You good? All right, here we go, guys. I know it's so interesting, isn't it? I just love this so much, you know, and these are some of the greatest people, you know. It's like, I love bringing people together that are just that group of people that are just so, I just love it so much. And everybody in this chat's this way, and the people that listen, and it's just the greatest group. And it's I'm so excited about doing stuff like this, as you can tell. So here we go.
We hear they have some women for sale. Is that true? Do you look after the women? See, I'm not sure that. I'm not sure that.
Okay, that one I'm hearing that sing-songy again. Go back to the beginning. Hang on.
Yeah, that's the one you played before.
All right. Let me see if I got. Is it? Okay, let me see it. It's the same.
Yeah, go back one. Go back one.
It's hard for me to tell, so I'm just going to start it again. Pardon my tech here, because I can't see where they are. Here we go.
We hear they have some women for sale. Is that true? Do you look after the women?
I heard it.
I heard that.
This one's a little bit quieter. This one's in the basement. And when we first got down there, and I asked about the women, and there is it almost sounds like a female voice, and very, very quiet, and says yes. And then you hear,
yeah.
Which definitely almost sounds like a male spirit.
So like it's almost like there's two of them.
Yeah, well, there's definitely two different spirits.
Okay, let's do that again.
We hear they have some women for sale. Is that true?
Yeah.
Do you look after the women?
Yep, I got it that time.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. And then,
yeah.
Two different voices.
Yeah. Yep. Everybody's hearing it. Yep.
Yeah, I think everyone hears it.
Yep. Okay. Now this next one, let me see if I can cut it back just a titch. And he's not asleep, he's concentrating, just so you know. All right. He's extremely sensitive too. He had a good night that night.
See, I'm not sure that. See, I'm not sure that.
Is that like a?
Yeah, Holtz room. Yeah.
That's the Holtz room. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm not sure that.
Do you have the one listed with Donnie?
I think I do. I hope I didn't miss it. You guys, let me go back and look and see if I've got it. I thought I put it on this one. What was the words before it? Can you tell me what it was tagged?
It said Donnie. Basically, it said Donnie.
It says Donnie?
Yes, I wrote them on both of them. One's in a loop 3 times, and the other one is just the first.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Let me do this. Let me see if I can go back and check if I missed any. And you guys, if you want to, as we're closing out, because we've kept you here for so long, if you want to tell, we'll start with Billy, and I'll go and look without trying to knock us off of here and see if I can find it, because I know it's in here. If not, we'll get it on the next time, and I'll let Donnie hear it with your permission, so he, so he can hear it too. But I'd love to know, Billy, what was the experience that changed a theory for you or expanded a theory for you? You know what I mean? Like, as you go and you go, oh shit,
Yeah.
it was different than I thought. Which experience was that for you? Was there one?
Yeah. That experience was the woman that I saw in the graveyard. That was the experience that I guess kind of changed my perception, because you think of ghosts as being shadowy figures, but to see my first full body apparition, that opened my eyes. The possibilities of what we could capture in the paranormal.
Wow, I love that. The possibilities of what we could capture in the paranormal. Yeah, absolutely. James, would you like to take a shot at that one? Was it the Sachs Bridge, or was it another one that changed it? Or was it possibly that night at the Hoover? I don't expect you to tell that story. It was very personal. But when you got that reaffirmation, I'm sure that when we get one from somebody we know and we love, it's a totally different thing from getting it from a stranger that we see or get a contact from. What was that experience for you that expanded your theory or changed your mind about something in the paranormal?
Well, it's not one in particular, but I could think of about 3 or 4 different ones. But the night of the table tipping, that was one of the most personally profound ones I've ever had, because as I had my hands on the table, when I felt the spirit coming into me, my hands just started shaking uncontrollably, and I know I wasn't doing it consciously, and I could not stop. It was just so strong, the presence of my father. And then again, there was another time that Billy and I were investigating a house that they were reporting that they thought they had a demon, and it was in this one room in particular. Well, they had put a padlock on the bedroom where this demon was supposed to be. And as Billy and I approached the door and reached for the padlock to unlock it, all of a sudden we heard a deep guttural growl.
Oh man.
I mean, it just shot through both of us, and we both jumped back, because it was just such a strong projection of a evil growl. And so that opened my eyes up to the demon world, to really prove to me, there is such a thing. They are in existence. So
it's a profound experience, and I can testify. My hands were on the same table that James' hands were on, and during that, and only during that one, the table literally shook And it was with this energy, the strength of the energy. Remember that whole table, and you looked at me and I looked at you, and I'm like, this whole
It
table's
was
just
vibrating away.
vibrating, just
Yeah.
vibrating. And it didn't do that with
Yeah.
anybody else. And I was like, wow, this is a spirit that's trying to come through. And I almost wondered if the first thing that went through my mind was that the spirits maybe had Parkinson's and was a earthbound, because I was getting this shaking. And then my mind said, no, it's an excitement and a strength of this person that was trying to get through and finally got a chance. It was excitement. And I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
That's the night the table actually walked to show somebody that they had their leg amputated. Do you remember that? And not anymore.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's what they said, not anymore.
Yeah.
And walked that table across the room and hugged the person and then slid back. They showed us that, you know, it didn't have to move that way. You know, it did it on purpose for a profound reason. I thought it was amazing. You know what I mean? Michael, tell us now. I don't have that. I can't find it, so I will fix it, and I will let Donnie listen to it right after the show.
Your email. It's in your email.
It's got to be one I missed. I was trying at the last minute to get all the other stuff in, and I'm sorry, guys, I missed that.
Definitely just play for Donnie so that he can, because it's a name. It's somebody's name.
It's somebody's name.
And Jim asked, do you have any other messages for Donnie? And then there was a name, so I really want him to hear that.
Yeah, I want him to hear it too. And with your kind permission, I can play it tomorrow night with Steve on the show, so the listeners can hear it too, if that's okay.
That'd be great. Yeah.
All right, terrific. So that way I can try to fix it. I'm sorry, guys. I was throwing stuff in.
No, we have so much tonight. Sure.
Tell us what that experience was for you that expanded your mind thinking about the paranormal, or changed a theory where you thought, wow, there's more, or whatever it might have been. What was it?
Well, my first experience, like I said, back in 1978, when I captured that EVP on the reel-to-reel, and it wasn't even using a microphone. It was actually plugged directly into a receiver that I went to zero and just recorded static for 2 hours. And when I captured this man yelling and screaming at the top of his lungs, that right there, that put me on the path. But that proved to me that, wow, this does exist. I've had so many experiences over the years, but like Billy had said, similar. Me seeing a full body apparition that was solid. To me, it was a solid person walking down a hallway at this very haunted hotel that we were investigating. And as we came around the corner, we heard somebody whistling really loud. It was 3:30 in the morning, and this person was whistling super loud. And as we turned, we saw this guy walking, and we yelled down for him to be quiet because all our friends were sleeping in their rooms. And he turned, he looked at us, basically to say F you. That's what he gave us. And he went into a doorway. And me and my friend I'm glad I had a witness with me. We ran down to the doorway where he went in. We opened the door, and there was a janitor's small closet with just a sink, and there was nobody in there. And so that changed me because this person was solid. We saw a solid person.
Wow.
Had a witness with me, and I mean, I'm pushing on the walls, I'm doing everything to do, and he had a secret passageway or something, and that changed me.
Wow.
Me. And that was 2008 that I had witnessed that. So just when you see an apparition, full body apparition, somebody that as solid as could be, and then all of a sudden they disappear.
You don't even realize that they're not an alive human being in front of you until they're gone or disappear or do that thing that tells you, whoa, and when you've experienced that chat,
like
changes everything.
Yep.
Guaranteed. Donnie, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
This delay, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to step on people. I wanted to ask you, Donnie, you're brand new to this, kind of. Over just a couple of years, right?
Yeah, just a couple of years. 5 years. I'd say 5 years.
Yeah. And I told him, I said, Donnie, I got to get you in here. Great researcher, does a lot of wonderful things, loves history. And, again, I've learned so much from him. We've learned from each other, just going in, looking at a subject and coming back and talking about it. I found this. I got, this many sources on this. What do you think? And throwing it back and forth. It's been an absolute delight. But the best fun has been, I think it's an absolute privilege to take somebody at this point in time and show them everything that I've learned and introduce them to wonderful people like you and take that knowledge, that combined years of knowledge, and throw it in there. And then Donnie takes it and runs it around and feeds it back. And it's like learning it all again. So Donnie, in the paranormal, the same question, what has been the experience that you've had that has either expanded your thinking or changed your theory? And tell us a little bit about that as we head out.
Probably when I figured out what synchronicities were.
Oh, cool.
And then once I started having the funny thing is, as soon as I understood what a synchronicity even was, like I'd never even heard that word until like 2017. But then as soon as I found out what it was, synchronicities started happening. And then once I started happening, I'm like, are we in a video game right now? And then ever since, that's kind of been my springboard into interest into the paranormal, was just that thought.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I just love that. I absolutely love that. Well, guys, I'm telling you, I couldn't be more thrilled to have had you guys on here tonight. I couldn't be more thrilled to meet you. Everybody that Michael introduces me to has just been an absolute ace of a person. And I can't wait to get to know you guys more. And maybe we can meet up if you go on an investigation or something like that. Let me know ahead of time. Maybe I can get out there.
At the Hoover House sometime.
I would love to do that. I would love to do that. And, I'd like to go back in the winter. Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, I'm actually in North Carolina like once a month.
He is too. Yeah.
So
Well, hook
we
up.
have to exchange information and hook up because that's like my second home. So
yeah. And I've met so many wonderful
Please do.
people from there. Eddie and Brandon and everybody else. It's a wonderful group of people. I'll tell you guys, if you're in North Carolina, I know I have some here in the chat. And if you need any help, call these guys. How can they get in touch with you? Are you via Facebook? You have a website? Tell us about how to get in contact with you guys, Billy and James.
Well, they can contact us by email, Southern Paranormal Society at gmail.com.
Okay.
North Carolina.
Yeah, Southern Paranormal Society NC at gmail.com.
Okay. All right. Make sure it's got the NC on there because you want the North Carolina, you guys. Okay.
Yep.
And that wonderful book, I'm going to put the picture up again for you, is right here. It's a beginner's guide into the paranormal, also how to protect yourself. I think that's extremely important. People don't do it enough. I remember when I was handing out chocolate at the Hoover House, everybody thought I was crazy just being the Easter Bunny. No, chocolate is a way to raise your endorphins in the beginning and the end after an investigation. It helps raise your, changes your frequency and your vibration, just the way it makes you feel better, just like a good song. So, little things like that we can learn from people who have this many years experience and learn how to do the same thing, maybe a little bit better, and add in a lot of that wonderful hard-earned knowledge. Michael, where can we get a hold of you? And
pretty much contact me through Facebook, the Heritage Hunter Society page. You can join that. You can message me or Michael Luciana at Facebook. I don't do too many websites anymore, and email.
I don't blame you.
Heritage Hunter Society at gmail.com as well. And I just love to talk to people and share different experiences, and that's what it's all about. We all should be sharing with each other. So love it. And please check out the show Journey Through the Past on Prime TV. And,
yes, please do.
I think you'll really enjoy it.
You guys are getting so much bacon and love tonight. Bacon is love on Journey Through the Gate.
A lot of bacon.
And they are slinging, and I think they're working on some chocolate covered bacon. And they're running some chocolate covered bacon in here tonight. There you go. There you go. And I'm just thrilled to meet you. And I wish I got to spend more time with you. Everything, it's always so short and sweet. But next time we go to the bash, maybe I can go with the group or something and we can see how all that goes, because I'd love to bring in I'm old school. I'm dousing rods and heart.
Right.
That's me, and I just use those to try to get a confirmation for what I'm feeling. Yeah. Yep. There you go. Yeah. Donnie, did you have any last minute things you wanted to say before we go, honey?
Oh, just that it was like a really great honor and pleasure to have met you guys over at that Hoover House and to have that experience together. It was really cool especially the table tipping session. It was a lot of stuff happened that night.
Yeah. I enjoyed listening to you. Was it Korean?
Yeah, I just speak Korean in my table tipping.
But I really wanted to listen because, especially with the recordings, because to me that's fascinating. I think I haven't gotten to work with somebody with a different language for sessions. So you're more than welcome anytime to come here, please.
Well, then the problem was as soon as it answered to Cisco, because I was speaking Korean to the spirit of my great grandmother, and then Cisco asked the question, and then it tipped, and I was like, "Wait a minute, you've been able to understand English this whole time? You're just making me speak Korean?" And then I asked the question in English, and it didn't move.
What was her name?
Oh, man.
What was her name? What was your grandmother?
I don't know. I do not know.
Well, we got a name.
We don't have too many family records.
We definitely got a name.
In
response to that.
So what I'll do is I'll email that to you, Donnie. You can listen to it there. You can listen to it. I'll go in there and find it, and I'll also hook up Mike and Donnie on a messenger in a group thing, so you can talk to each other, and he can let you know right in real time what's going on. Okay.
Yeah, and if you play tomorrow night, I can pop on too.
Yeah, just
sure. Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be absolutely great.
I'd rather listen to it when everyone else is listening to it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That sounds great. Fellas, it's been a great night. I thank you so much. Keep helping families and keeping history alive in North Carolina. I just, I love you both instantly. And Michael, you know how I feel about you, darling. I love you, baby. I love you.
Great having you on.
What a great night. The chat's loving you. The bacon is slinging everywhere. They're thanking you for coming on. I know you can't see the chat. So what you want to do is if you want to go back and watch it on YouTube, give it about 24 hours and the chat will come back and you'll get to see in real time what everybody said. But it takes about 24 hours for the live chat to come back after YouTube goes through it, whatever YouTubes do. Right. And that way you'll get to see all these wonderful things people are saying about you. Listen, it's been a wonderful evening. Thank you so much. Thank you, chat. Thank you for the super chat. Remember,
thanks Cisco. Thanks, Billy James.
Keep your heart in it. Don't listen to these. This has been great. Don't listen to these TV shows that tell you that you don't need heart and your sensitivities. Remember, the human being is the only animal that talks themselves out of their inner feelings. Nobody else does that. Human beings do. And good and paranormal investigators talk themselves right back into it, and they listen to those feelings. So remember that, guys, okay? I love you all, and we are on our way out.
Good
night. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Love you all.
Welcome to Journey Through the Gate, Paranormal Portal podcast, as we delve into the